Your lightsaber blade is red!
Unfortunately, I am not a Jedi.
How's it going, everyone? I'm SirJames, coming at you guys with yet another custom lightsaber review from the Star Wars Visions lineup. Yes, I planned all that prior to this video. But yes, anyways, this is from the Ultimate Works lineup called the Ronin. I know a lot of you guys were asking me if I was going to get this one because you missed the last review. I did a review on this particular Star Wars Visions lightsaber, which many of you enjoyed. And now you can kind of see these two in comparison. I really like the aesthetics and the style that these hilts have. Now, the good thing about the Ronin saber, unlike the other one, is that this one actually has a way to clip it onto your belt and to wear it around, which I'm happy with. Now, a lot of you guys are probably going to ask me right away, does this include the sheath? You know, where he's pulling the saber out, popping it back in. Does it have that other component to go with this to make it more complete? Unfortunately, the answer is no. Based on all the ones that I've seen for places that carry this particular style saber, nobody had one. And the only options that I could find were pretty much 3D printed based options. I know on Etsy there's one you can get one pre-painted, which the paint job was just basic, subpar, and I paint Warhammer miniatures, so I'm able to kind of judge it that easily. But the most common thing I could find, again, is a 3D printed kit where you assemble it and paint it yourself, which is something that I might do. If you guys are interested, let me know in the comments below. So let's go ahead and start by giving you guys a closer look at the hilts. Now, some of you might say that the hilt looks relatively large in size, but honestly, no, not really. It's actually quite comfortable with the hands, especially if you're going for that, you know, two-handed grip. It works out quite easily, and it's easy to wield as a one-handed weapon as well. Over here on this end, of course, you got your D-ring, so you can go ahead and attach it to your belt. You got the Shoto wrap, I believe that's the term here. You got your activation switches over here. Mine is set up to where the top one is to activate and the bottom one is to change fonts and other secondary functions. And of course where your blade will go, and it does have a blade plug that is included with the hilt like they always do. And then here is the other side. Now for me, I ended up getting this as a pre-kit option because in my last review I mentioned that Ultimate Works is a pretty good way to kind of build a lightsaber collection, especially if you want to get into it but not constantly spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars, where you can simply buy your first one fully installed, and rather than keep buying them fully installed, you can get your next one as a pre-kit option, which is what I did for this, meaning that it came to me pretty much with all the internals ready to go. I didn't have to wrap anything, it was already wrapped for me. I did hear that if you get this as an empty hilt, this part is not going to be wrapped for you, that you do it yourself, at least based on one comment that I found. But anyways, I could take the chassis from my old hilt and pop it into the new one, which is exactly what I did. I did, of course, update some of the sound fonts as I updated to the latest Profi firmware, and that was a pain in the headache, but you guys want to see this more than anything. So first things first, before we put a blade in it, I did test one thing because I was worried about this part the most. Is in order to get access to the internals, this section right here where the D-ring is attached to comes apart. You simply twist it like so, pop it, and you can go ahead and get access to your internal. Now it's a little bit hard to reach with your fingers. However, the cool thing too, I don't know if this was meant to be part of the design, is you can use the D-ring here, pop it in there, and use it to go ahead and freely pop out your chassis. And there you go, you got your Profi, and this is what the kit looks like if you've never seen an Ultimate Works lightsaber. And this is what I mean by just buying one saber, pulling out the chassis and pop it into the new one. And the pre-kit already has parts in there where you could just attach it to and just, again, upgrade maybe your sound fonts. But once you do that, you simply take this and then you find the slots and lock it back into place. Now, the one thing I was worried about is how this was going to hold up, because there's no additional locking mechanism where after this is in place, if there's a screw that you can tighten to ensure that it doesn't come loose. Because if there is no chassis in here and you're just wanting to wear an empty hilt around, the problem is that this is so loose that I could see your saber easily, you know, basically coming apart. However, with the chassis in there, thankfully it was more of a snug fit, because I wore this all day last week on Thursday when I brought it with me to the Disney park. That's how far the extensive test went. All day from morning into the late night. And thankfully that wasn't the case. It held very good and firm and didn't have any complaints with that. But with that being said, let's go ahead and insert a blade, because I know a lot of people get tired of me talking and talking in a product review and just want to see it light up with all the fancy lighting and stuff like that. I get it. I get it. So let me go ahead and bring over a blade. By the way, I have another Ultimate Works lightsaber coming that you guys are going to be excited for. Alright. I was just testing, make sure the blade was in there all the way. And tighten that up right here. So, as far as lightsaber fonts, I did of course add the Ronin saber font from Kyberphonic. So that one was pretty neat. And I also changed it to where, just like in the show, where if he was pulling the saber out of the sheath, it will do like the same effect. And if you're putting it back into the sheath. And basically it's the slow ignition thing that we see, like this. And then if you're basically putting it back into the sheath, see if I can kind of demonstrate it. It's a little bit hard to show because of the camera angle. Here we go. So something like that, and then you angle it. Like if I had a sheath to put it in, it'd be like, you know, something like that. Pretty cool effect, and basically the effect was simple, is that with the latest OS that I installed for Profi from FET263, he had a Ronin saber effect, and the only thing that I did was change the ignition speed to 1400 for both out and in.
I wonder what color this lightsaber will turn when it's finally in the hands of a real Jedi.
This is another saber font that I recently added, and with some cool effects. I'm pretty sure some of you are probably familiar with the Star Wars Visions, the Ninth Jedi, a very solid episode in my opinion. This particular font, not only is it based on the show, but it's also got the effects down too, because if you recall, Kara, I believe that was the female's name, you know, she wasn't a true Jedi, at least in the beginning. When she ignited her blade, it was a dim color, and then after having to defend herself against these opponents, I'm trying not to spoil the episode too much, but eventually after about 9 or 10 hits, she was in a lockup effect with another opponent, and then her saber goes from a dim color to a bright color, indicating that she's considered to be, well, the Ninth Jedi. So let's go ahead and activate. So again, it's that dim green color, nothing too crazy, but let me go ahead and hit this 10 times and then lock up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now I'm going to go ahead and do the lockup effect, where it's going to go from dim to bright. Just like that. Never gets old. Next up.
You have been guided by the Force ever since the moment you were born.
This is the Margrave from also the Ninth Jedi. Specifically the moment when the Margrave used the Force to basically disarm one of the Sith opponents, and after he had the saber in his hand, it went from the red color to a green color. That's what this one is basically based off right there. So let's go ahead and ignite. So let's just say on the off chance that I'm using the Force now to grab the saber from the Sith, and now in my hands within seconds,
You will suffer, Churro.
we go from that red to that green color. or just whatever color you want it to be, of course, which is always fun. But as far as the saber itself goes, in terms of handling, feels good, whether it's one hand or even two hands. Just two hands just makes it feel more classic, more natural as far as like dueling goes. And then yeah, it's just always fun.
I sense someone strong in the force, but it's not you. It must be the other.
So this one's for the old man in one of the other episodes. Now, of course, the old man, he has two sabers. I don't know if anyone's made those yet. It'd be kind of cool to get them. But they're more like, instead of like longer blades, they're shorter blades in a different fashion. So, but I had to have that in there. I was trying to incorporate as much Visions related stuff for a Visions lightsaber. But of course, it is his saber plot.
I sense a disturbance in the force.
And that one is for the Jedi from that particular episode as well. And that's when he had that pretty cool moment of deactivating his blade, reaching up in there, and then reactivating his blade to finish him off. Pretty cool moments like that.
The Jedi Council?
And then the other two that I have on here that's not related to Star Wars Visions is, of course, Cal Kestis from Jedi Fallen Order, because, you know, I was short on some fonts. And as always with Profi 2, I have it to where I could enable color change, so I can do whatever color that I want. I can even go for a nice pink color. Shows it a little bit weird, but you can see the pink there. We're just gonna go back to blue. And once we activate it, there you go. And last but not least,
Prince Arkan.
Prince Arkan. This one I put with the yellow. This is the one I was rocking mostly at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. A lot of people are geeking out about it. Ooh, turn that back on. But yeah, that's the Hilt. So, like I said, I did have this with me at the Disney park. For those who ran into me that were familiar with the episode and the Hilt, a lot of people were geeking out about it. Other people that I ran into who obviously don't know anything about Visions or maybe don't watch the animated stuff, but those people who saw the Hilt thought it was a really cool looking Hilt as well. So fans, whether you're a Star Wars fan or not, a lot of people loved it. I love it myself. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below. The other Ultimate Works lightsaber we're going to be taking a look at this year is also going to be the Dark Ray lightsaber that they had recently released. It should be in by today, assuming if this is, if I was looking at, of course, the information correctly. As far as the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge lightsabers, I do have the two new ones pre-ordered, which is the Qui-Gon Jinn, along with the Count Dooku Jedi variation from the Tale of a Jedi series. And I'm trying to figure out which other ones. And also, I should have another Ultimate Works lightsaber that a friend of mine is loaning it out to me, which is from the Star Wars Force Unleashed video games for the, what's his name? Coda, I think it is, the general lightsaber. And yeah, that should be it. So it's going to be a fun time. I hope you guys look forward to those videos. And if you have any questions, let me know down below. And until then, I'll see you guys on the next video upload. And always remember, may the Force be with you.